What could possibly keep the Kingpin under control? Well, it turns out, contracts. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about what Vincent D'Onofrio recently said about why he can't be the Kingpin in some specific Marvel projects, and what workarounds might exist so he can eventually face off with Spider-Man. This totally needs to happen. Well, I have to say, the return of some of these Netflix characters has been pretty great, and none of them has been more triumphant than a return of Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk. Honestly, as far as superhero and supervillain castings go, he is one of the all-time greats, and many fans were really hoping he could jump from the Man Without Fear and be facing off with our favorite friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Fans have been calling for this street-level showdown between Spider-Man and Kingpin for a really long time, and quite honestly guys, we've gotten a ton of rumors surrounding this possibility. Daredevil and Spider-Man teaming up to battle Fisk is kind of a fan dream, but unfortunately it's really hard to tell how likely that is and if Marvel and Sony have any plans. As you know, Marvel and Sony have a long-running relationship over those Spider-Man rights, and that could really be playing in here, as D'Onofrio sort of hinted at. Now recently, he sat down and spoke with Josh Horowitz, and he dove into a little bit why he doesn't think his character is going to show up in Spider-Man Brand New Day or any Marvel movie at all ever. This is what he had to say. "The only thing I know is not positive. It's a very hard thing to do for Marvel to use my character. It's a very hard thing to do because of ownership and stuff. Right now, I'm only usable for television series. Different kind of series, whatever it is, but not even a one-off Fisk movie or anything like that. It's all caught up in rights and stuff. I don't know when that would work out, or if it would work out at all, actually." Now, if you're a fan of Spider-Man, you kind of know why this is happening. Traditionally, the Kingpin has been always thought of as a Daredevil villain. But in reality, he made his first appearance in Amazing Spider-Man number 50. He's one of those few characters that's basically shared between Marvel and Sony. Very similar to how Jessica Drew, aka Spider-Woman, is. But these things are all very, very complicated. Now, where I get confused a little bit is that Sony and Marvel have to work together to make the Spider-Man movies in the first place. So it seems to me it wouldn't be very hard to come to some sort of agreement to make the MCU's Kingpin of Crime part of Peter Parker's world. This sort of seems like a no-brainer, especially with the popularity of the television show. And I would imagine Sony would definitely want such a high-profile actor, well, in one of their movies. Now, it does make total sense. If they wanted to do a Kingpin movie, they would need Sony's involvement if the rights are tied up in those contracts. But these are always things we rarely get a true peek at. Now, D'Onofrio in the past has talked about this, but it seems like there's never really been any direction for the whole thing. Most of this seems like it's fan discussion, meaning more or less the rumor mill, the clickbait, and then some of the so-called scoopers have kind of injected energy into the story where really there's nothing going on behind the scenes. The one caveat I will throw into all of this, though, is the simple fact that he's a professional actor. He knows how to put on a show. But I think in these interviews, he does go out of his way to be honest. D'Onofrio seems like a pretty honest guy. So I think he's probably shooting straight with Horowitz, and as far as he knows, there's rights issues with Marvel and Sony. But he doesn't work in the executive suite and isn't there for those kind of negotiations. Now, there always is the distinct possibility that, like I said, he's an actor and he's trying to throw us off the scent, basically deflecting the story to kind of build for some surprise. It does seem like Spider-Man 4 could shape up to be a street-level adventure. There are so many questions there that are unanswered. And at this point, I wouldn't completely write his character out of that project or any future Marvel project. I think he's going to remain a staple in Marvel television because that's easy. But I'm absolutely positive if Marvel wanted to use him on the big screen, specifically in a Spider-Man project, that really wouldn't be that hard to work out. Probably the one spot they could have some problems if there's a team-up movie like a street-level Avengers that take on the Kingpin, well, then there would be some heavy negotiation on costs. But all this is doable. They've worked it out for Tom Holland, and I don't really see why they can't work it out for Vincent D'Onofrio. But we'll have to wait and see. Now, before you take off, though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily videos, and we want to be your place for all the Marvel and DC news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently, so you're really in the know.